Everything starts with edge. Your trading career and success needs to start with having a highly effective edge. This is The Profit Factor, a podcast where we explore topics around edge, process, and mindset to help traders become consistently profitable. I have a question for you today, and I want you to really consider the question, really think about it. And the question is, are you trading with edge? Now, some of you might be brand new traders and you have no idea what I'm talking about. And I'm going to get to you in just a minute. I'll explain what edge actually is so that you know what it is for yourself and your trading. But for those of you who are experienced enough where you know what I'm talking about, I want you to think about this question. Are you trading with an edge? It's a scary question if you really think about it, because you don't want to say no to that, because then you have much bigger issues to deal with. And you don't want to sow any seeds of doubt in yourself that could hurt your confidence in your trading. But this is a fundamental question to answer. If you're going to be consistently successful, you have to know whether or not you're trading with edge. So let me first describe what edge actually is. And I talked a little bit about this in, one of my earlier podcasts. Edge is very simply the likelihood of one thing happening over another. It's in the context of trading, it's having a set of rules that over a period of time or over a number or series of trades, you have a statistical probability of profit. That's what edge is. You have a statistical probability of profit. You are the casino. You're not the gambler in it. This is what differentiates professional traders from retail traders who are simply gambling their money. You do not want to be a gambler. At least I'm assuming that's why you're here. You're listening to this podcast, you're watching videos, you're doing the work. You don't want to be a gambler. The way that you avoid that is you become the casino by creating and developing an edge. So I want you to really think about this. Do you have an edge? Are you trading with that edge? Do you know how to measure what your edge actually is? Now, for those of you who are new, you're probably getting into trading. You're probably trying to understand what all of these different terms are. You're learning platforms and so forth. The first thing to do as a trader, and probably experienced traders need to go back and do this, is you have to create an edge. You have to have a set of rules that are very clear, very well defined, easy to follow, that have this statistical probability of profit. Now, it's really funny because a lot of times I encounter traders who think they have a mindset problem. They'll come and say, like, I keep moving my stops, or I keep missing entries, or I'm over trading, or I'm FOMOing into trades. And we'll sit down and I'll say, okay, explain your system to me. Explain to me what your system rules are, and we'll go through it. And then I'll ask them this question. And if you're a trader, I hope you can answer this question. But if not, you need to ask yourself that original question, are you trading with an edge? And here it is. What is your profit factor? Now, if you don't know what that term is, then you're probably not trading with an edge, or at least you don't know how to measure it. Profit factor for traders is one of the most important metrics for us to use. We hear a lot of stuff that's thrown out there in the forums. Oh, my win rate is 80%, right? Blah, 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 blah. I can do this. I can do that. I make this much money. I have this much return. The metric that matters for traders is profit factor. And if you know what your profit factor is, and if your profit factor is greater than 2.0, then you're trading with an edge. Anything less than that, and you're probably not trading with any sort of statistical probability of profit in your favor. It's too unreliable. So profit factor is a really, really important calculation. Profit factor is the thing that is going to determine and tell you whether or not you are actually trading with edge. And if you can't answer that question, if you don't know what profit factor is, or if you don't know what your profit factor is right now, and if that profit factor, even if you do know all that, and your profit factor is not greater than 2.0, you are probably struggling in your trading. As part of the podcast, one of the things that I'm doing is interviewing Tim. Tim is a friend of mine. And what's really cool about these conversations with Tim is that he's a brand new trader. He's new to the game. He didn't know anything about trading before he met me. And Tim and I have been able to have some really great discussions. And one of the first things that I did with Tim was a blank, he was kind of like a blank canvas for me, which is really great. It's great to be able to work with someone who has zero baggage from a mindset or discipline perspective or anything like that. And the first thing that I did with Tim is I made him first of all, I made him learn a set of rules, and he went off and he did all the work. And this set of rules was really challenging. It was a discretionary based system. And for certain people, they have an edge with that system, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, a lot of development. And he went back and he back tested it and he did the work, and he struggled. It was so hard for him. And at first he was doing pretty good. And then all of a sudden he kind of had these kind of wackadoodle days where he went off the rails and it was perfect. Right. And the reason I did that is because I wanted him to be able to see what it's like to trade when you don't actually have an edge, when that edge is so razor thin that any mistakes can result in a down day or a down set of trades. And then the mindset stuff kicks in, and then it gets even worse and worse after that. I wanted him to see what it's like to trade a set of rules where the edge was there, but it really wasn't that strong. And then your mistakes get in the way and you start to fumble. And so I stopped him and I said, okay, we're going to revisit this. We're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to recreate a new edge that has a lot of cushion, that has a large profit factor, and there's lots of room for mistakes. And this new edge for him has been really fantastic. He was able to pass combines really quickly, faster than almost any other trader I've ever worked with before. I think within his first 3 months of trading, he was passing his first combine, which was amazing. So these discussions with Tim are really cool because it's me taking him through this process of, okay, what would I do if I were starting from scratch? How would I coach someone who's starting from scratch? And the first thing is always about edge. It's always, hey, let's get a very clear set of rules in place that have a lot of cushion, that theoretically have a really great profit factor and allows you to still make mistakes and be profitable at the same time. That is a really cool environment to be working in as a new trader. And so he's had his hiccups. We're going to see his ups and downs as we talk to Tim, and he's going to go through issues around process, issues around mindset, refining his edge, and all these wonderful things. But everything starts with edge. Your trading career and success needs to start with having a highly effective edge. So I want to come back to that question again, and I want you to seriously think about it. I want you to not turn away from the question. Don't be afraid of the answer. Don't be afraid of a no. Are you trading with an edge? This is the time to really ask yourself that question, to really confront the possibility that you don't have an edge. Because if you can fix it, if you can recognize that that really is part of the problem and a big part of the problem, and you can fix it, then you can be on the road to consistent profitability. That's the goal. That's the objective. So think about this in your trading. Ask yourself, do I have an edge? Am I trading with an edge? Do I know how to measure the edge? And do I know how to make the edge even better? Ask yourself these questions, really hone in on that question. And you're going to see when you focus on that part of it, you're going to see massive improvements in what you're doing. All right, traders, that's what I got for you today. This is the first step. This is part of the work to becoming consistently profitable. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Check out my YouTube channel at The Profit Factor on YouTube. But if you really want to amp up your trading game, take a look at my Consistency Accelerator program. This is a program that was designed to systematically help you become consistently profitable. It includes coaching and course material around edge, process, and even mindset. Check it out at www.gettheprofitfactor.com.